Hi, I'm Julie from ThermoKitchen, and today we are making a salted caramel cheesecake. Now, this cheesecake isn't like your regular cheesecake that you would make in a spring form tin and slice. This one we're going to be making in little jars, which may seem a little strange, but they are perfect when you're serving a large number of people and you want just a handy little dessert that you might want to be serving a range of different desserts, maybe going around with some platter food. You might have been asked to bring a dessert to a barbecue or some sort of get together, and you can make a lot of desserts really quickly using this recipe. It is a free-form dessert, so it isn't suitable for making in a spring-form tin. It won't hold its shape. But for these sort of little jars or little cups or something along those lines, it is absolutely perfect, and it does look really, really good when you do serve it at a barbecue or to bring your own plate. So let's get started. We are first of all going to smash up our biscuits. So we're going to go on to manual mode. So we'll just tap on our little home button, and we are going to weigh in 150 grams of ginger nut biscuits. And then we're going to add half a teaspoon of cinnamon to those. Okay, and pop our lid on, and then we'll X out of our scales and tap on our home button to get us back to our manual mode. Now I'm going to put this on for about 12 to 15 seconds on speed 9. Now depending on the brand of your biscuits will depend on how long it's going to take to crush these up finely. I'm using Arnott's biscuits today, and I know that they are real teeth breakers. So it might take my machine a little bit longer than if you're using home brand or a more crumbly style of ginger nut. Okay, now I can still hear that I've got just one little piece going around, so I'm just going to pop that on for on speed 9 until I can hear that that's disappeared. There we go. Okay, just going to scrape down our bowl and just take a look there. So that's our crumb. Now we're adding our butter. We can weigh our butter in, tapping on our scales. Should be 65 grams of butter. Yep. And then we're going to melt for 1 minute. Oh. So put 1 minute on the clock, 100 degrees, and speed 3. Lovely, and that's going to mix around and give us our crumb for the base. Meanwhile, I'll get our jars ready. Tap the screen to stop the noise. Okay. Lovely, so we've got our crumb all ready to go. And we're just going to drop some of that crumb into the base of our jars. Now we're not pressing that in because we don't want it to be too hard to spoon out. And if we press it into the jars like we would a regular cheesecake, it would stay compressed in the base and it would be hard to spoon out as we're eating. Okay, and there we go. Got our bases made. And now we move on to our filling. Okay, so we're going to first of all combine our gelatin, which we have just here, with some hot water. So we've got a teaspoon of gelatin and 60 mils of hot water. I'm just going to stir that until it combines, making sure that we've got no lumps in our gelatin. Okay, and next step, we are going to place the Nestle. So this is our Nestle caramel top and fill, placing that into our TM bowl. And then we have 400 grams of Philadelphia cream cheese, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and then we are going to pop our lid on. Add our gelatin, I'm sorry, and pop our lid on. 10 seconds, speed 6. Okay. Very nice. Okay, that's all mixed around nicely. Now, our job is to pour the filling into here. And it would be very smart if I had a piping bag or a funnel, but I actually don't have either. So I'm just going to have to be very, very careful. We don't want to fill it all the way because we've still got our topping to go on top, our salted caramel sauce. And we also don't want to get the sides of our jar too dirty because that'll take away from the overall look. Okay, so now we're going to pop these in the fridge and let them set. Meanwhile, we will make our caramel sauce and let that cool, and then we'll add that to the top. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, with our cheesecakes in the fridge, it's time to start on our caramel sauce. So we are going to go over to our scales. Now we're adding our cream, and we're needing to add 3/4 cup of cream, which is 190 grams. Now I thought I'd be a bit short, so we have our pure cream here. I'm just going to top up. Now pure cream doesn't have any thickeners added. Great. And then we have 60 grams of butter. $56 grams, that'll do. And 215 grams of brown sugar. And then we're just going to add 1/2 teaspoon of sugar just to make it that bit salty, so we get out a salted caramel. Okay, pop the lid on, get out of our scales, back to our manual mode, and we're popping this on for 5 minutes. onto 120 and speed 3. And we are going to keep an eye on that because it will boil and we do want it to bubble. That's how it reduces down. So I'm just going to remove the lid so that I can watch that actually does boil, and it will slightly thicken, and we'll allow that to cool before we tip that over our cheesecakes to top our little cheesecakes. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to lift this up and be careful not to get any of the condensation back in the sauce. Super. Now, whilst it is still quite runny at the moment, as it cools, it will thicken, and once it gets in the fridge, it will actually become, quite a thick syrup. So we are going to leave this to cool at room temperature, and once it has cooled, we'll pour this over the cheesecake. So I'm just going to leave it right here and be back in just a little while. Okay, so let's take a look and see how our cheesecakes are going. Very nice. Okay, so we have our 12 cheesecakes, and now we just want to top it with our cooled caramel. Now these also have some cream on top, and you can then decorate with either chocolate or some more ginger nut. Okay, well, that is looking rather delicious. And next we'll just pop these into the fridge again, and the caramel will set a little more firmly, and then we'll be able to add our cream topping and give it a little bit of chocolate on top. Now, if you were going to transport these to a barbecue or to some destination, or if you're going to have them, say, tomorrow, then you wouldn't put the cream on just yet. You would put the lid on these and pop them into the fridge, and then decorate them when you're ready to serve them. So just with a bit of cream, and that way we've got, the lid can fit on, whereas if we put the cream on and then we need to transport them, we could easily ruin the effect of the cream and the finishing touches. Okay, so I'll be back shortly and we will get these all finished. Okay, and now we're ready to put the finishing touches on our cheesecakes. So we are going to make a chantilly cream. Now, it's simple, but it takes cream to the next level. So I'm just putting like half the carton, so about 300 mils of cream in, a tablespoon of icing sugar, and the secret ingredient, which is vanilla bean paste. And we want about a teaspoon of that, and that'll probably be the end of my vanilla bean paste. Yes, it is. So the cream we're using is fresh cream, not thickened cream. I don't play with thickened cream. Don't like any additives in my cream. Okay, so we are putting in our butterfly, giving it a half turn and popping the lid on. Now we are going to just tap on the blade speed and turn the blade to speed 3.5, and then I'm going to watch the cream because it takes a different time every time I make it, depending on the cream. And we don't want to take the cream too far and turn it into butter. Now I'm just going to have a look at that. So I want something that will hold its own, but isn't butter. So I think I have about a second or so to go on that before I destroy it. So let's see. I am renowned for making amazing Chantilly cream or butter, or sweet butter. There is no in between. And I think that's it. Okay, and now we're filling a piping bag. Piping bag I've got from the mix shop. This is one of their large piping bags. Oh, I do love this. Honestly, it tastes like vanilla ice cream, this cream. And it's very hard to stop eating. Now, I'm not going to make you sit through watching all of these. We'll just do a couple. Okay, so obviously if you're taking these to a barbecue, like I said, you would save doing the cream until you got there. Be a bit more generous with that one. And now our topping. I've got two possible toppings. We can use Twix and go with the biscuit and caramel that we've been using in the cheesecake. Or we can use Twirl and just give it a bit of a just chocolatey. The one in there. Yeah, I think the Twix is going to be my favourite. And there we have it. So this is our cheesecakes in little pots so that we can take to barbecues or whatever, or so that we can have a selection of desserts out and about for our table. So we might make some cheesecakes, some chocolate mousse maybe with a little chocolate ganache topping, or a mini trifle, and just have a few different lots of desserts out on a table at Christmas or at a barbecue or something along those lines. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this. I'd love to see what you actually make, so please come over to our Facebook group and post any pictures of your cheesecakes. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to join me on our ThermoKitchen Facebook group. Happy cooking!